Hi there. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's presentation on logistics for war, Russian strategic actions. In this brief session, we'll explore the intricate world of military logistics and the strategic actions taken by the Russian leadership and its armed forces. Before we begin, I want to invite you to watch the first episode of our series on logistics for war. It provides a solid foundation for today's discussion. You can find the link of the episode at as given below. It's an insightful resource worth checking out. To receive notification for future episode, please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the bell icon. By doing so, you won't miss any valuable content we share. Now let's delve into world of Russian strategic actions and their impact on logistics during time of war. In preparation for the potential conflict in Ukraine, Russia implemented a series of strategic measures to ensure a resilient and prepared economy. The Military Industrial Commission, which was established in March 2006, formulated a comprehensive plan that guided their actions. And today we will explore some key initiatives taken by Russia to minimize the impact of potential sanctions and economic restrictions during this period. First, Russia focused on increasing its gold reserves, which not only strengthened its financial stability but also reduced vulnerability in economic fluctuations and external pressures. Now they are ranking fourth in gold reserves in the world. They started reducing dependence on US dollars, recognizing the risk associated with over reliance on US dollars as means of international trade. Russia actively sought alternatives. They explored diverse payment methods, encouraging use of other currencies and reducing their dependence on US dollar. They have also created a hype in the world today that there are alternatives to US dollar. And you can see overall in the market, the value of dollar might be increasing, but overall reliance of countries on dollars as mechanism for trade is decreasing. To diversify its economic relationship, Russia actively pursued stronger trade and investment ties, especially with China. They also tried with other countries in Asia, but China they were largely successful. They could increase their trade to the tune of 140 billion US dollars per year. As also they made sure that China is a very important trade partner and their reliance on Europe goes down. This deliberate effort to expand economic cooperation beyond traditional partners helped Russia mitigate potential disruptions caused by the conflict. Now, understanding the importance of self-sufficiency, Russia made significant investments in its domestic industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, and energy. These investments aim to reduce dependence on imports and strengthen the country's ability to sustain itself during times of conflict. Notably, Russia successfully decreased its reliance on food imports from 34% to 22%. And mind you, these are basically the finished products. In raw material, Russia is biggest exporter of grains, especially wheat. Now, recognizing the need for stable supply chain during the times of conflict, Russia established food buffers and re-energized its repair and recovery facilities. These measures were essential in ensuring the availability of critical resources and repairing any damage inflicted during hostilities. Of course, Russia strategically showcased its advancement in high-tech weaponry through technological demonstrations. This not only projected its military capability, but also served as deterrent and demonstrated its commitment to maintaining a strong defensive posture. It signed a long-term agreement with China for gas supply for 30 years, solidifying a strategic energy partnership and diversifying its energy exports and reducing reliance on specific markets. Meanwhile, it also established Rostov-on-Don and Belgorod as primary resupply hubs for Ukrainian conflicts. These hubs have ensured uninterrupted flow of critical supplies. There have been issues earlier about Ukrainians, you know, theft of Russian gas in Ukrainian territory, as also sometimes Ukrainians using gas meant for Europe and not paying for it. So all these things ensured Russia created a 2-3 hubs around Ukraine, which were in the guise of these issues, but actually were meant for the conflict. Russia actively invested in groups like BRICS to strengthen geopolitical alliances and promote economic cooperation. These alliances have provided additional support and stability during the challenging period of conflict, especially politically. Recognizing the need for modern and capable military equipment, Russia focused on upgrading its weapon systems. These included advancement in tanks, air defense systems, aircrafts, and also initiated production of advanced military technologies. These upgrades enhanced Russia's defense capability and ensuring their preparedness for any potential escalation. Mind you, during this period, Russia also took very big active measures to make sure that its supply system is not disrupted by means of hacking, and they are very good at it. Now, also let's look at what Russians did immediately and dynamically to stabilize its economy on outbreak of hostilities. First, they raised interest rates. This was to stabilize the value of ruble and also preventing capital flight from the country. It sold foreign currency reserves and bought rubles, intervening to maintain the stability of its currency. Made sure banks had access to funding they needed to continue operating and support of overall economy. They started supporting the targeted sectors like bank, agriculture, and energy in a big way and made sure they are stable. So you see, overall, Russia managed its logistics balance very well. Let us see, once the hostilities commenced, how Russia managed to have that logistics balance, which is still continuing. So it implemented a series of gradual actions to adapt to the evolving situation and mitigate the impact of sanctions and geopolitical challenges. These actions were aimed at maintaining stability and ensuring the continuity of logistics support. Let's explore some of these actions in detail. First, it strategically shifted its gas and oil sector exports from Europe to Asia, particularly targeting markets in China and India. Now, by this diversifying its export destinations, Russia had reduced its dependence on European markets and opened up new avenues for trade and economic cooperation. Actively fostered international cooperation in various areas, including security, culture, and technology, by building new relationships and partnerships. Now, this is all to reduce reliance on Western countries and create networks that were less affected by sanctions. To insulate itself from effects of sanctions and currency fluctuations, Russia started demanding use of its domestic currency, ruble, international, in international trade transactions. This shift reduced dependence on US dollars and other Western currencies, providing more stability to Russia's economy. Russia focused on increasing its trade ties with China and other countries, as well as African and Middle Eastern nations, which had in a process it started earlier, but now they have actually gone in a big way. By diversifying its trade partners, Russia is minimizing the impact of sanctions and creating new avenues for economic growth and cooperation. It coordinated closely with OPEC to maintain stable oil production levels. This helped reduce fluctuations in oil prices and ensured a steady demand for Russian oil. Russia took measures to ensure continued demand for its gas and oil, irrespective of sanctions. One approach was to utilize countries like India, where crude oil was imported, refined, and then exported to West. This strategic move ensured a consistent market for Russian resources. Now, during this period, Russia faced intense propaganda and information warfare, especially for logistics. However, because of this proactive measure, it successfully countered the negative narrative and continued to maintain the support required for its logistics operations. These gradual actions showcase Russia's ability to adapt and find alternative avenues to sustain its logistics support despite challenges posed by sanctions and geopolitical tensions. Do write comment about what you feel of this episode of Military Strategy, and don't forget to subscribe.